Hey everybody, Alexander Thompson here with the Minimalist Entrepreneur. Now we have seen an explosion in no-code and low-code tools like Bubble and Adalo, and it's really awesome what they provide, right? Because they allow you to build a mobile or web application without having to know how to code. Again, this is all great. Now the issue that arises is that when you have validated your idea or you start to see some traction, and now you want to maybe build some more custom or more advanced features, and in the case that these no-code tools that you're using are not supporting that, well, you're kind of in a difficult situation, right? Because now you have to consider using another tool, or you actually have to take and rebuild everything with custom coding. And I think that's a big dilemma for me when it comes to no-code, that they have this issue with a lock-in approach. So in this video, we will be looking at two very interesting mobile application builders called FlutterFlow and Draftbit. Now, what is so special about these two is that they have the whole visual builder component that we know of. They can also they allow you to write custom functions in their native mobile languages. And lastly, you can actually export your whole source code, so your code base, to whatever and wherever you want to bring it. I think that brings the whole no-code development to a whole new level, right? Because this means that you don't have a lock-in, you stay flexible, and actually, as you grow with your product, you can then do whatever you want in whatever direction. So let's get started. Okay, we are starting with FlutterFlow. Now, FlutterFlow is based on Flutter, which is created by Google. And with FlutterFlow, it allows you to build native iOS and Android applications. And what I wanted to mention quickly here is that, first of all, very, very good UI, personally, of the visual builder, very easy to use. And I think what is really nice about them as well is that it's natively integrated with Firebase. So with Firebase, it allows you to enable for user authentication. You can, create the database structure in here. And to be honest, I prefer using an external party when it comes to the database structure. If you use a no-code builder like Bubble and you use their database, well, it becomes a bit of a problem when you want to, maybe migrate, or if you get a lot of traction, because then it's a bit slow on something like Bubble, I would say. And if you have to migrate to another third party, it just becomes difficult due to the whole authentication and so on. So with having already starting with a third party integration, it works really well. You have other tools as well that they offer, like CodeMagic, which allows you to push your, let's say, FlutterFlow application to iOS and Android very easily. So looking at the pricing, you can get started for free. Pretty awesome. And with a free plan, you can, you have the UI builder, you have the Firebase integration, you have other things like third-party integrations, and also what is really nice is a custom function. So this is not what you see so often in the different builders, but you can actually, using the native language of Flutter, which is Dart, you can build pretty much very advanced features with this. So if you don't find specifically what you need with the visual builder, you can then add your additional code. And all that comes with a free plan. Looking at the standard and pro plan, generally speaking, the download code comes in the $30 one. So that allows you to export the whole code base that you have, with the FlutterFlow, if you want to at some point take it outside. So it's really, really cool. But also with the 70 plan, you get GitHub integration, custom APIs, which usually is quite needed, as well as the CodeMagic integration, as I mentioned earlier. So I think overall it's a pretty good pricing. You can get a lot of interesting stuff for it, and to be honest, $70 per month for what you get here, including all the integrations and the stuff that you get in other plans. I think it's a very good deal. All right, now we're looking at the FlutterFlow visual builder, and in my opinion, is one of the best ones I've seen out there, just because it feels very easy to use, but also offer a lot of complexity. If you start with the left-hand side, we have the build part. Now the build part is first of all where you see all the pages that you currently have. So let's look at my appointments. And if you click on the next one, this is where you have the widgets and components. So you can add in the different components into here as you prefer. The next one is the widget tree. So what you just saw before, this is where you have exactly how is it stacked, what is the hierarchy on the page itself. And then when you click on, for example, one part here, opens on the right hand side styling as well. So you have the visibility, you have the padding, alignment, whatever it is that you need. You can go into more details as well. And then the flow action that you want to create. So if someone clicks or on tap what do you want to happen? Do you want to have a navigation? Do you want to upload photo, backend call, authentication, and so on? Then if you go back here, we have the connection part. Now, this is all about the database and the APIs and the custom functions. So first of all, we have Firestore, which is the Firebase database. And what is very neat here is that you don't have to go to Firebase after you have done the integration to see what exactly are the, what are the schema or what is the database structures. You can see it directly inside of FlutterFlow. So this is very nice. It allows you to, see all the different details as well. What is the setup, manage the content. Then you have the API calls. Again, I don't have premium plan, but you can integrate with whatever APIs that you want. Then when you go down here, you then have the custom functions. So again, if you know Dart language, you can then write whatever function that you want in case the visual builder is not offering it to you. And then one last thing I want to show you guys is just, again, if you click on this one, you can even view the code directly here. So here you see all, essentially what is the code being generated. And in case you have the right plan, you can then of course download your code and get the whole source code for it. All right, so the next one we're looking at is Draftbit. So Draftbit is very similar to FlutterFlow. It's about building mobile application. It allows you to do custom function and exporting code. But in this case, it allows you to do it in React Native. Okay, so if we're looking at the pricing of Draftbit, they don't have a free plan, although they do offer a 14-day free trial. So for $15, you can pretty much build up to 3 applications. You can publish to iOS and Android app stores. You have, screen level code export, and then of course with the whole visual building features. With the $15 plan as well, you have actually the integrations as well, API integrations, if I understand correctly, which is not provided by FlutterFlow for that price. Now, so you can probably do pretty much everything that you want in most cases for the $15, but they also have the professional plan for the $99. The main thing here, for that amount of money, you then also get that whole project exporting. Okay, now we're looking inside the Draftbit no-code builder. So how it's structured is that on the left-hand side, you have the screens that you're seeing here. You have the theme that you want to go by, navigation, data. I want to make one point here on the data is that they do also have the Firebase. It's a little bit more complex for sure than FlutterFlow, but they do have it easily as well. They also have nicely different REST services, just if you want to do Airtable, if you want to do Bubble and so on, Sano backendless. So they kind of created this little nice setup here, I think, which is really helpful. Beyond Firebase, I think Sano and backendless are 2 very cool no-code backend builders that also allows you to create that customization and give you the flexibility and control. Now, besides this, if you want to insert components, it comes up here. So here you have the different components. Here you will add the screens, including the different templates that they're already created. This is where you can add your custom function, just like FlutterFlow. So they pretty much both offer very similar options. Again, the difference is that this is React Native, while the other one is Dart. And then up here, you can then look at your code that you have created for that specific screen. Again, you have commit as well if you want to use GitHub. So I think it's pretty much similar as well, as mentioned. And then the right-hand side, you can then control the different container layout, the wrapping, and so on. So I hope you have some idea now of FlutterFlow and Draftbit. I think they're both 2 very exciting tools to use when it comes to your mobile application development, that the ability to start with them, and if you have to, you can always use custom functions, you can always take the code somewhere else if you have to. Now when it comes to my preference, I think I just prefer FlutterFlow because of this very sleek UI. I just really like the user interface. I'm a really big fan of the Firebase integration as well, which comes almost like natively to some extent. But with that said, I think both tools are quite similar with what they offer. And I think it also really depends on, do you have a preference towards JavaScript, React Native and so on? Or do you prefer maybe Google's Flutter and Dart language? I would say from a no-code perspective, they're definitely not as good as builders like AppJiver. So AppJiver offers a lot more from a no-code perspective. You can do a ton of things with the visual builder itself. So you have to keep that in mind, right? So it's more not only targeting no-code developers, but really this combination is more like a low-code, right? So it fits really well if you want to build part of it with a visual builder. And then maybe later on, you want to add some development resources and actually have some custom function added to it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe below. And I would love to hear comments from you. Do you have questions? Have you used these tools before? Or do you have other tools that you would recommend? Let me know below.